Hello everyone, welcome back to another World of Tanks Blitz video. Today I'll be doing my first Russian tank, and that's going to be the KV-1, a fine machine in the PC version. In the Blitz version, it's a little bit different. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw some stats up on the screen right now. We can take a look. I've made this sort of simple. If it's green, the Blitz version is better. If it's orange, means they're about the same. And if it's red, that means that the Blitz version is worse than the PC version. So I'll go ahead and I'll throw the screen up here. Now, if you look at this, there is a lot of red and a lot of orange. So in most respects, the KV-1 in Blitz is worse than the PC version. The only really saving grace for this tank, honestly, is that it has 200 alpha versus 160, but that's kind of taken away when you look at the rate of fire and reload time basically being inverted, where you only get about 5 3/4 of a round out per minute versus 12.5 rounds per minute on the PC version. And the reload time is almost 11 seconds. So, like I said, those numbers are basically swapped. Caliber and the velocity, obviously on the 85mm is the same. Turns out that the dispersion is worse on the Blitz version, as well as the dispersion values for movement and rotation. The only stuff that's really the same in terms of gun handling, it's got the same amount of penetration at 120, and the aim time is the same at 2.78. Everything else is not that great. And depression and elevation, same as it would be on the regular tank, on the PC version as well. My biggest concern, I guess, well, I can't even say concern, but my biggest issue that I have with the tank is its hull armor. If you look at the PC version, it's 75, 75, 70, which is fairly good at tier 5. It's almost like somebody flipped the numbers around. It's 75, 57, 57 in Blitz. So they can really take you out from the sides and the rear. Though I will say that the turret armor being 110 all around, same as the PC version, you can get some decent bounces off the turret if you keep your hull hidden. Terrain resistance and things like that are actually worse on the Blitz version versus the PC version. The only other green here would be camo, which, I mean, it's a heavy tank, so who really cares? Overall, it's still a pretty good tank at tier 5. Granted, its DPM is essentially cut in half. Its armor, in the front at least, is still fairly useful, and the turret armor is still good. This paint job that I have on it is called the KV-1 or Dedicated Warrior, which turns it into the KV-1 Warrior in the game. So I'll go ahead and load up some of those replays, grab some Simichki, and we'll get going. So my very first match that I'll show you is on Dead Rail. Fairly standard matchup, mostly tier 5s with a couple tier 4s. My big fight against here is either going to be the AT2 or the T1 Heavy. Those are going to be the two tanks that I'm going to be looking out for. So as you can see, this tank is not very fast. The PC version isn't very fast either, so I wasn't really upset with that. Now, another nice thing is the new update that World of Tanks gave us actually gave us free camera, so we can look at the tank as it goes. Now, let me go ahead. Oh, I see a tank over there. That was one of my allies. I got my 3 over here, and they're already going to start going to work on them. I see a Sturmgeschütz. I'm like, let's take it out. And I hit the train. Perfect Russian accuracy. Stug sees me. Doesn't do anything about it. Okay.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Launch another one. Take off 200 some odd hit points. I think he's trying to escape and back up. He's just not doing a great job. I think he got stuck on the train. Speaking of the train, I hit the train again. Threading the needle, I just apparently am really bad at it. I bounce a shot off of my tank. I don't know where that came from. If we take a look here. Oh. There's a Panzer IV G. He bounces. There's the M7. I think I may have bounced the M7. He managed to get a hit on me, but I do take a hit off on him too. I bounce another shot. I don't know where it's coming from. So if you take a look here, you can see I bounced right on the top there. Yeah. Don't know where it came from. I see the Stug. Oh. And I finally kill it. Now I'm just focusing on the M7. The M7's faster than me in every way possible, though I did damage the... Oh, never mind. So yeah, I did damage the engine and the tracks, but Leopard helps me out and takes him out. I finally noticed what's been bouncing me, and that's that T1 Heavy. Get another hit on that Panzer IV. He's out of the match, so we're down to a tank destroyer and the Heavy, which is what I expected. I was going to be fighting one of them. The AT-2 is being handled by several tanks, so I figured it's time to go ahead and go after the T1 Heavy. And again, that turret, or the track traverse, just the overall traverse of this tank is not great. It is very slow. I do manage to get one hit off. The KV, or the T1 Heavy seems to be busy with the Leopard, which I don't blame them. Leopards are definitely something to be worried about. They are nasty little things. He's now getting kind of ganged up on, but I do manage to take the finishing blowout on that tank, so at least I did some good there. I ended this match with about 1,200 damage, so not a bad match, but it took a lot of work, at least for me. I didn't move all that much, and yet, you know, a lot of stuff happened around me that I couldn't get to, so anyways, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next match here. So my next match here is on Copperfield. Again, fairly even teams, which is one thing I like about Blitz. Everything's usually pretty even. So the game starts. I'm on my way. I see my T1 Heavy going that way. I figure I'll go up this way because usually tanks will storm up this hill and I at least get some shots off on people. SU-85B flying around. He's taking up a position. I don't see anyone come flying up. Usually something will come up. I see the BDR. He's going the other way. The Wolverine apparently doesn't see me. So I figure I got spotted. Now, I wasn't sure if I got spotted by the BDR, which I feel is highly doubtful. So I figure I got spotted by something I can't see. This tank is fairly blind. And I decide I'm going to go ahead and try to cut the BDR off at the pass here. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait just for a second, see if anything shows up. And I'm also going to have several other tanks join me, apparently. So I see the BDR. He's not going to be able to get shot, but this Panzer IV-D, ooh, he gets it. And I decide it is now time to go down and rumble. So, BDR, Wolverine. I saw a Leopard off to the side there. I get a shot off on the Wolverine. Now, the Panzer IV-D I'm not even going to bother with because I know it's done for. And I see one of my teammates flying in. Now, I see a Leopard. Get a shot off on him. I see a Leopard up there, too, so I have two Leopards. And if I had two Leopards come at me at the same time, I probably would get smoked pretty easy. But luckily, they're kind of busy doing their own thing. I get spotted again. So this Leopard's coming. I'm like, alright, I'm going to focus on this guy because he's faster. I miss. He stops for some reason. I don't know if it's because he thought I was going to get hit. Now the other Leopard's trying to hit me. He gets a few shots off on me. I run into that Leopard. I think I did more damage to myself than the Leopard. Now I'm just kind of following him. I get hit by another shell. I still got some HP left. Now he tries to put something into me. It just doesn't work, and I just ram him. And that's one thing that the KV-1 can do. It's even though it's slow, it's heavy, and if it can get some momentum, you can definitely hurt a tank. Now the M7's come up on me, and I also see that there's an Electo. Now, I figured 2-on-1 I should be able to take him, but I figured I'd rather take the M7 out just so I don't have to worry about how fast it is. The Electo doesn't seem to notice me. The M7 stops and runs into the building. I take him out. Now I'm going to show you what I do here to the Electo. I managed to get a hold of him, and I'm going to go ahead and pin him in place. I fire a shot off onto him, and I just keep him up against the wall, and he can't do anything. I get another shot off on him. I've managed to kill his commander twice now. Now he gets away from me, and he's hoping to get his gun around to me, but I ram him. I keep him from turning his gun. He's taken out. Now I saw some other shells bouncing off me, and I said, that must be the other Leopard. There he is. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to come up on this Leopard. I see him right there. He backs up. We'll go ahead and get a better shot here. I put one into him. I damage his engine, and I take him out. So another, just one after the other. I really liked that. This tank, even though it's slow, it's still versatile when it comes to hitting smaller, lighter tanks, which we just showed, and we then take out the BDR on a snapshot there, and that ends that match. So, not a bad match. I end up dishing out 2,300 damage, which I can't complain about, and it was a pretty good match. The KV-1 in this situation really did make a difference. You can see I did have a lot of bounces. A lot of that small caliber fire went up against the gun mantlet. I did have a penetration in the front of the hull, and I believe somebody managed to... Whoa! Somebody managed to hit me on the rear. Yeah, right in that port back there. Otherwise, though... Oh, no, there's even some bounces on the side. Otherwise, though, solid tank. I ended up still with at least half of my health left, so I can't complain. It was a fun match. I did pretty well. Now, out of all my matches, this one was probably my favorite. I don't think I did as much damage as I did in that last game, but it's still a fun match. Now, these guys are talking. I don't know what they're talking about. They want to follow each other. That's fine. I'm going to kind of follow my fellow heavy here, my T1. I'm going to follow him along. That T1's a lot faster than me. That's one thing I can't stand. Well, I don't want to say I can't stand, but it really disappoints me on the KV series is, boy, are they slow. And this tank is fully kitted out as well. So, I mean, you know, there's only so much you can do. And it is what it is. So there's a Lago. He backs up. He got scared real quick. They're still arguing in chat. I don't know what they're talking about. So the Lago runs away. The T1 Heavy looks like he's going to get taken care of. I run into a T1 Heavy. He manages to put one right through the front of my plate, so not surprised. Even though it's 75 millimeters, it's not a very strong frontal plate. So everyone's kind of freaking out here. I have two heavies. I have a medium, and I believe there's even one more medium off to the side. So there's a lot of stuff going on. The T1's moved away. I see the Matilda, and I can't get the Matilda. I track the Lago. Whoop-de-doo. Not really excited about that. He fixes himself, and he bails. So I see the Matilda. Goodbye, Matilda. Now, I want to get after the T1 Heavy because his turret and his tank are not facing me, and I really want to put one into him. But now the Lago comes, and he kind of blocks me from doing anything. He manages to hit me in the gun, but nothing else. His engine's starting to slow down, so I say, oh, I'm going to go after you. I'll take you out. Now, I see a Luke's, and I go, I'm going to take this light tank out. So here we go. I managed to take one on him. He stops. I damaged him, and I ram into him. He damages my track. I fix it. I track him, and this is where it's a little messed up. So I managed to get the Looks up on its side, and I'm flipping him over here. He no longer can hit me, and now I've lifted him all the way up. He's actually doing damage to me at this point.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
And I take him out. I didn't know you could do this in Blitz. I didn't think that there was any sort of physics. I didn't think you could get underneath the tank, but that was actually one of the most hilarious moments that I had playing the KV-1. But still, let's take a look here. I managed to do about 1100 damage, so nowhere near as much damage as I did in the previous match, but that last kill kind of made up for it in my opinion. So, what do I think about the KV-1? Well, it's an okay tank. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as it is in the PC version, but it can still get the job done if you use the tank in a manner of either just shooting everything that you see and making sure everything pens, or getting out there and kind of brawling and ramming into stuff. As long as you keep your hull kind of hidden, you can hold down and you can bounce shots off your turret pretty reliably facing you. If you turn to the side, they're generally going to go through it. But I mean, it's not a bad tank. It just seems kind of really watered down versus the PC version. Still, I enjoyed it. It was a good tank. I like it. I kept it. So, you know, if you want something at tier 5 that you can just mess around with, and you want a heavy, or if you're grinding down a line and you get to the KV-1, I'd keep it afterwards. It's a fairly okay tank. But I think I'm going to go ahead and end this little video showcase here. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.